Hello and welcome to this Max Tips and Tricks video tutorial. In this lesson I'm going to show you how to loft multiple shapes together to create a transitional shape that would take you a long time normally trying to design it with NURBS or box modeling in Max. I'm going to show you how to set things up and give you the idea of how to design these. So, first things first, we got to make sure that we work from the outside in. And what I mean by that is we have two different ways here of setup of doing this, and one is the wrong way and one is the right way. And we're going to go to the wrong way first. And I'm going to show you why it doesn't work. Okay, so over here we have set up, we got these boxes here that would be lofted along these paths for like an architectural feature, like a ceiling support for vaulted ceiling or something of that nature. And so we have our individual boxes here for that, and then we have a copy of that we have taken and attached together into one contiguous spline shape. And if you click on it, you'll see that there's all these vertices and stuff going on there. Okay, well, if we try to loft this, what happens? We select a path, and we go to the first geometry thing, and we go to the pull down and go to compound objects. Click on loft, and we're going to want to have path steps, and we're going to want to have it on a grid, and I always turn these down to 0. And then we go to get shape, click on our first shape, and then we click on our steps. Now when we do this, there's a little yellow X, a little yellow box looking thing that moves up and down based on the vertices in our path. We have 3, 1, 2, and 3. So when we click this, it'll go cycle between 1 and 2 from the first vertex. And we want it on 1, which is the middle where we want to put the new shape. We go to get shape, and we try to click this, and nothing happens. Up here we'll get an icon, but down here we won't get anything. It can't do this. It's not able to handle that kind of a shape. Now, on the other side, we've done it the right way. On the other side, we have the outside of this collection of boxes. We've made one single shape that goes along the outside, and we have the top of our pillar here. And then the next thing that we have done, and this has to be done for any object you want to loft if you want to have success at it, we have the first vertex is aligned on our shapes. So if we go here and we go into the vertex subobject mode, you see the yellow vertex. I've added an extra one here to match up along the line. Your first vertex should match along the line you're going to loft on, and it should match up with any shapes that it's going to be lofted with. Otherwise it'll twist and cause you problems. And you might be able to rotate and adjust it back into shape, but there's no guarantee there. But you see that both of my shapes over here have the first vertex aligned, and they're both set up in the same position. Now in this case, they're not going to be lofting along any of these outside ones, so they don't have to be aligned to the path. The path runs right along the middle of them. But up here, that's important to have that vertex aligned, because otherwise it won't come out right. So now if we click on our path, and one more thing to show. The start of the path is where the yellow vertex, the first vertex, is. And you always want that first vertex to be at the beginning of your shape that you're going to create. So we go over here to the create panel, we go back to loft, and we pick path steps because it doesn't remember any of our settings we just did. And I always go to grid and turn these off. I don't need that extra geometry. I turn this off. I can adjust it later if I want it. I go to Get Shape after I minimize this, and I pick my top of my column, and then I go to the next step, wrong button, next step up, and I need to move over here so you can see where that little yellow dot is. You see that the little yellow dot is right in the middle. So I go to Get Shape and I click on my next shape. And now we get the transitional piece that we want to go between these two meshes. Now there's a little bit extra geometry here, but that's a small price to pay for such a nice mesh that would be so hard to design normally in Max. And that's the basics of how you loft multiple objects together. Now if I convert this to an editable poly and I select these, wrong button, got to get to the poly subobject mode, select these top polygons, being careful not to select the other ones underneath, and rotate around to check. Okay, I didn't do it right this time, so I'll do it again. And rotate around to check. And delete them. I didn't ruin my mesh, I actually made things a lot better. Now I have less geometry, and it still has the squares that we need for these other pieces up here. So we'll just do one to demonstrate it. If I go to gotta click on the path first. Go to Loft, and we don't need path steps or any of that this time. We might go ahead and put it on the grid again just for the heck of it, and we turn off the caps. I'm designing stuff for video games, so I eliminate all interfaces and all unused bottom top faces, all that kind of stuff, to increase the to lower the poly count and to increase the optimization of the mesh. So I go to Get Shape and I pick one of my boxes, and you'll see how this would, if I wanted to pull it down, it would line right up with that. And you'd have this beautiful little architectural design here with a very few amount of steps. And you can get these things pretty complex too, and we're going to show you that right now. But that is the basics of lofting different objects together. Now if I go to Open Recent over here to number 25, we have something that you're going to see in a later tutorial, how to create tree splines, loft, and extrudes. It's a tutorial that I had written for the nucleus and had not done in video form yet. Then I should be finishing that up in the next couple of days. We have this exterior shape, and this is what I mean by working from the outside in. This is where these larger lower limbs are going to be attached to the trunk. So we create a shape to go around the outside of these big round circles here are the actual shapes of the limbs themselves. And this is our thing that goes along the outside. And then for this, in this case, we have this middle shape. So what we've done is we've created a transitional piece that goes from the outside of this and then the insides of the larger trunk meshes. And this mesh here has no holes or anything like that. You see, it's just one solid thing because we're working from the outside in. So this then is our inner limbs where they're going to be coming in. So if we go in here and we go to Unhide All, you can now see the final created object. And then I can go in here to each of these and I can convert them an editable poly. And this is the kind of clump that you would see on a deciduous tree like an oak or something of that nature. I'll go over here and do it instead. And then I just select the top polys and delete them. Select the top polys. First I have to actually select the mesh. And then select the top polys and delete them. And then take the two and put them together. And then attach them. And then go to Vertex and edit, select all, and go down here. I always do this. I first hit weld, and then I go remove isolated vertices. And then for this, because it's organic, I will probably do like a 60. So I'll select all the polys, and I just do a general smooth. I don't add any other kind of smooth to it. So I go to clear all, and then I type in my number and auto smooth. And then this is my end result. And as you can see, it's maybe not the most natural, most organic looking thing. I'd probably go to a 90 because I see some angles there I don't like. But then the big limbs could attach here, the inner upper limbs could attach there, and all this could attach to the trunk, and this would have taken you a very long time to try to design in Max by hand using any other method. So that is the the basic and intermediate of lofting multiple objects together. I don't know how far to get on the advanced. I haven't taken this much further than this, so hope that helped you, and look for more Max tips and tricks in the future.